The hype and excitement in the horror community, guys, is starting to build for the Outlast trial. So Outlast, guys, a game that is a pretty terrifying experience, to say the least. A very exciting and fun game, in my opinion. I've really enjoyed it up to this point. I'm really looking forward to the Outlast trials. And there's a lot of, questions that were coming up, right? We've talked on the YouTube channel. You guys can check out on the YouTube channel everything that we've kind of talked about so far about the Outlast trials. But as more information has come out, I think it's important that we talk about these things and we kind of start breaking them down. We give our opinions, and I would love to hear yours in the comment section down below, because this is one of my most anticipated, horror games that's up and coming in 2021. So let's talk about it. In an article, guys, that was written by Matthew Bird of Den of Geek, the Outlast trials will take the Outlast series in an interesting new direction as it's introduced co-op to the series. Developer Red Barrels is working on a new Outlast game called the Outlast Trials. It's not quite what you're expecting either. Well, it's not a direct sequel to the other critically acclaimed Outlast titles in the series. The Outlast Trials will be set in the same thrilling universe, more precisely, right in the middle of the Cold War era, Red Barrels said of the new sequel in a press release. The Outlast Trials will allow players to face the horrors of the trials by themselves, or cooperate with up to 3 other test subjects. We had mentioned in the past, guys, that one of the big things to me when I was kind of looking into this title in particular, before we got more information, the images that were released, guys, of the goggles and such, I really thought that this was potentially a secret VR title for Red Barrels in the Outlast universe, because when they say that this was not going to be a direct sequel to the other, Outlast titles in the series, I thought to myself, okay, this is going to be their VR title. It's going to be kind of like Half-Life Alyx from Valve. That is, a VR title, but it's just kind of like Red Barrel's way of kind of getting into the VR sector with Outlast, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. If we had to guess, though, we'd say that this will likely be a more intimate horror experience that is similar in scope to the original Outlast title, in the sense that it will see you try to survive the horror of a particular facility. We'd love to see the game's co-op mode serve as a kind of horror version of Portal, but it's a little too early to say whether or not that's what we're going to get out of this. Now it seems to me, guys, that when you can play together with your friends, my biggest question is like, I can totally see so many different ways in which you would be able to connect with this game outside of just co-op. Like, you can maybe play by yourself. You can maybe play multiplayer. This could have some multiplayer modes to it. We'll kind of have to wait and see, but it kind of feels like maybe a Dead by Daylight type of mentality if you were to play multiplayer or something. I think that could be really interesting. It's good to know that Red Barrels is returning to the Outlast universe. The original Outlast is one of the most important and overall great horror experiences of the modern era. Outlast 2 suffered from some missteps, but it still left us with the general impression that Red Barrels knows how to craft truly memorable horror titles. Red Barrels said back in December 2019 that it had been working on developing the title for months and is now ramping up the production process. So we expect the game to be pretty far along at this point. The studio also promises to focus on content creation, variety, and gore this time around. So when they say content creation, it's hard for me to understand what they're talking about there. Are they talking about content creators that are creating content around the game? Not sure exactly what they meant by content creation, but definitely variety as well as gore, guys. We love it. That's something that'll be really interesting to say the least. Now, as far as the release date is concerned, guys, the Outlast Trials will arrive in 2021. The game is currently only confirmed for PC. Now, I really am hoping that it comes to consoles as well, that being like the next generation consoles. I really hope it doesn't stick to just PC, because that's going to kind of limit how many people are going to be playing the game. Sure, there's going to be a lot of people, I would assume, but if it's on consoles as well, it's going to become a lot more accessible. Now, the first teaser for the Outlast Trials is about as gruesome as you'd expect. This was something that was shown at the 2020 PC Gaming Show, guys, which you guys should definitely check out if you have not already. It is pretty pretty terrifying. I mean, you're watching it, it looks like they kind of turn on some music, then they go ahead and it looks like they're about to start torturing the subject, but they're actually they sort of screw the goggles onto you as the player, and then you can see you're kind of running away from looks like some pretty terrifying individuals and such. And so it was a very interesting teaser trailer, to say the least. And I gotta say, the more I'm seeing about it, the more I'm hearing about the Outlast trials, the more excited I'm getting about it. Now, I don't know what I'm going to think about having the night vision goggles on at all times. I hope it's not all the time, but I get the concept that they're going for here, and it could be something pretty special. Now, we haven't heard anything, guys, about necessarily multiplayer and all of that. I think this game could be primed for multiplayer experiences, in my opinion, especially the 3v1 type of style, kind of similar, something kind of like Dead by Daylight or games like that. That could be really interesting, especially with this game. This looks like a really creepy experience, to say the least. And look, guys, in a gaming landscape that we are getting horror games, without a doubt, don't get me wrong, but it just seems, and it feels like more and more of the horror games, true horror games out there, are starting to turn more into action horror games. This feels like just gritty horror, and that's what I absolutely love, guys. And so I'm incredibly excited about the Outlast Trials. It's one of my most anticipated horror games up and coming here in 2021. It can't come out soon enough, guys. I'm excited about it. Let me know what you guys are the most excited about when it comes to the Outlast Trials. Let me know in the comment section below. And for more The Outlast Trials content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.